21st meeting of the Lake County Board of Commissioners. Would all those who are willing and able please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Grant us, O Lord, light to our understanding, prudence in our investigating, foresight in our planning, sincerity in our deliberating, the grace to follow truth in our judgment. Help us to be moved in our decision, neither by fear nor by self-interest, and to do our work faithfully. May we respect the authority vested in us, for thou art the source of all authority. And may we use our directives for the common good, and for thy honor and glory. Amen. Amen. Thank you all. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Here.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Here. Okay, this brings us to our first public comment portion. Anyone wishing to address the board at this time? Anyone at all? Okay, moving on to our first agenda item. Madam Clerk.
In special resolutions, resolution honoring Laura Pijmo for her years of dedicated service to Lake County.
Mr. President,
Sir.
motion to adopt.
Second.
And discussion. John, I'm sure you have much to add.
Mr. President, there aren't words to fully express the thanks that I feel for my friend Laura, for the many capacities in which she shared her life, her wisdom, and her good work with all of us. More than anything, I want to say this for the benefit of her 3 children, Nathaniel, Janie, and Francie, because I know that years from now they'll look back and they'll remember the great example that Laura Pijmo, their mother, set for them. The gift that she gave by showing them the path to being a truly good human being and an outstanding public servant. I'm humbled by the fact that I was blessed to serve with Laura on Willoughby Hills City Council. Many called 2019, our last year serving together, the year of Willoughby Hills. We welcomed the YMCA Dream House to our community, highlighting what a great place Willoughby Hills is to live and work and retire. We brought the single biggest employer to the west side of Lake County in the past decade, produce packaging, over 300 good-paying jobs together, working on that tax abatement, that incentive to bring them into our community. And we cut sewer fees, giving something back to the community. In an age where everyone's trying to raise taxes, Laura found tax savings and gave back. But she wasn't just a councilwoman. Laura served as an assistant law director and village solicitor for different communities in Lake County. In particular, her wisdom made a huge difference for the community of North Perry, where she's missed to this day. She served as an Ashtabula County prosecutor. And as an assistant prosecutor, she upheld the law, she brought justice, and she worked with everyone from the township trustees to the people of Ashtabula to move people forward. She was an adjunct professor of law at Case Western Reserve University, where she taught SALT, state and local tax. And I think it's appropriate to say SALT because she was also the author of a blog called Salty Running, because her favorite thing to do was to run. Marathons, 4Ks, 5Ks, I don't even know. I don't have the athleticism to do what Laura did, but she won them all. And she loved to be a part. She loved to be a part of the running community. But I think I was most impressed when Laura came to me and said, I really want to serve as a member of the board of Lake Tran because I recognize the difference that Lake Tran makes in the lives of the elderly, the blind, the infirm, the people who can't afford a car to go to their job, to see the doctor, or just don't have the health, the vision, the sight to get to see their family and their friends and participate in the community. She believed that everyone had a right to participate in their community. And even though she was suffering from stage 4 cancer and she knew that the sacrifice would be great, she chose to take that position as trustee, and she threw herself into it 110%, like Laura did in everything in her life. So for those watching now and those who may look back and ask, who was Laura Pijmo? She was a wife and a mother. She was a councilwoman and a prosecutor, a trustee, and more than anything, a friend. I want to close in saying this because the word hero is thrown around a lot these days. Everybody says they're a hero now. But I think that we sometimes lose sight of what it means to be a true hero and a public servant. We focus on the extraordinary, the flashy, the big moment. Some of us are called to give our life in one supreme act of bravery, and God bless those who do. But for most of us, we're called to give our life back one day at a time in service to our family, our friends, and our neighbors. To do the mundane, to just be a good person and to help whenever you can. And that's the example that Laura set for us. She gave her life back one day at a time to Lake County and to Ohio. And for that, I will always be grateful. May God bless Laura Pijmo. Rest in peace, my friend. I love you, we love you, and we're grateful to the family who lent you to us.
Thank you, John. Rich?
I don't much know what more I can add to that other than, another life tragically ended too soon. And my thoughts and prayers are definitely with her and her family. Quite frankly, I can't imagine the pain they have to suffer. So,
Thank you, sir. And from my perspective, I'm going to hold to the old adage of a picture is worth 1,000 words, and I offer this photo of Laura Pijmo standing before the Capitol. I think that picture right there that she shared not so very long ago exemplifies her personal and professional life. And on the family side of things, I was honored to be able to bear witness to her interactions with her adoring children and be able to witness a tender holding of the hands with her husband. She was many things. Rest in peace, our friend. Rest in peace. If there's nothing further, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
On behalf of her husband, Mike, her children, her sister, Kyle, my answer is not just yes, but yes and God bless.
Commissioner Bregovich.
yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes. Thank you, gentlemen.
In the engineer's office, resolution authorizing the Lake County engineer to prepare and submit an application to the Ohio Public Works Commission, State Capital Improvement and/or Local Transportation Improvement Program, and to execute an OPWC agreement for the County Line Road Reconstruction Project Phase 2 in Madison Township.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Engineer, anything you want to add to that? I know we've been waiting for this one for a while, too.
Yes, Commissioner. County Line Road, that's the section of roadway over in Madison that we have not completed to date. This will finish out the roadway. It's approximately 0.85 mile section of roadway north of Route 20. This section gets used quite a bit by the Cash and Concrete company. Their concrete trucks are up and down there all the time. This will widen the road a little bit, give us a nice smooth surface out there. And some assistance from the Ohio Public Works Commission would certainly be welcome in helping to pay for that work.
Well said. Thank you, sir. All right, if there's nothing further, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Bregovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
In the Utilities Department, resolution increasing appropriations and transferring cash within Lake County Department of Utilities Sewer Fund and Project Fund 596 Project 462S 2023, Grace Court Sanitary Lining.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. None being heard, Madam Clerk, roll call please.
Commissioner Plechnik,
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich,
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution increasing appropriations and transferring cash within Lake County Department of Utilities Sewer Fund and Project Fund 596, Adams, Melridge, and Industrial Park Project 415S 2018.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. None being heard, Madam Clerk, roll call please.
Commissioner Plechnik,
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich,
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution approving final estimate number 5, release of retainage in the amount of $38,067.32 with Chivers Construction Company Incorporated and accepting a 3-year maintenance bond in the amount of $99,093.50 for Kirtland Old Town Sanitary Improvements Phase 1 Project 445S 2021 for the Lake County Department of Utilities.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Randy, this is kind of a milestone. Did you want to give some more background?
Sure, thank you, Commissioner. This is our Kirtland Old Town project, as the resolution stated. The first phase is complete, and this closes out the contract with Shivers Construction, and it'll allow property owners to start connecting to the sanitary sewer. Phase 2 will be advertised here in the next month and have a similar timeline, probably completed about this time next year.
Excellent. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
If there's nothing further, Madam Clerk, roll call please.
Commissioner Plechnik,
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich,
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution approving final estimate number 4, release of retainage in the amount of $13,146.90 with Garland DBS Incorporated and accepting a 30-year high-performance edge-to-edge, no dollar limited warranty for the Gary L. Crone Wastewater Plant Administration Building Roof Replacement Project 464S 2022 for the Lake County Department of Utilities.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. None being heard, Madam Clerk, roll call please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution approving plan specifications and estimates of cost in the amount of $82,500 for Hardy Road Regulator Project number 468W 2023 and advertising for bids for the same, bid opening November 15, 2023.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Randy, any background you want to share on that one?
Sure, thank you, Commissioner. This project is some infrastructure that's going to be near the intersection of Hardy Road and Oakwood in Painesville Township, which will allow some redundancy in that area to have more reliable water service.
Very good. If there's nothing further, Madam Clerk, roll call please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
And Job and Family Services Department, resolution approving the memorandum of understanding between the Lake County Department of Job and Family Services and community partners, delineating the roles and responsibilities for referring, reporting, investigating, and prosecuting child abuse and neglect cases as required by Revised Code 2151.4225B1.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Suzanne, anything you want to add to that?
I would add that we at Job and Family Services appreciate our partnership with local law enforcement agencies, all of the agencies in the county to address child abuse and neglect. And also I would offer my thanks to Assistant Prosecutors Dave Hackman and Nina Germano, who assisted us in ensuring that this MOU was in compliance with the revised code.
Excellent. Thank you, ma'am. All right, if there's nothing further, Madam Clerk, roll call please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
And the Finance Department, resolution increasing and decreasing appropriations for various general and non-general fund accounts.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. None being heard, Madam Clerk, roll call please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution transferring cash and appropriations within various general and non-general fund accounts.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. None being heard, Madam Clerk, roll call please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes. Okay, moving on to departmental reports. Utilities.
No report today, Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Job and Family Services.
No report today, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. County Administrator.
Good morning, Commissioners. No official report, but I just be remiss if I didn't wish my good friend and colleague, Mike Matus, best of luck in his next steps in his career. He's been a great colleague, a friend, mentor, etc. And I just want to wish him all the luck in the world moving forward. So thank you.
Well said. Thank you, Jason. Madam Clerk.
Yes, the next commissioners meeting is going to be on Thursday, October 26th at 10 a.m. here in Chambers. And I as well want to wish Mr. Manus good luck in his new endeavors.
Thank you, ma'am. And Legal.
No reports, Commissioner.
Thank you, sir. County Engineer, anything you want to add, sir?
Not at this time, Commissioner.
Thank you, sir. All right, moving on to old business. Do we have any old business? Okay, I've got a few. We have our Director, Paul Stefanko from our Telecommunications Department, and we have the local and regional representatives from Motorola. Paul, did you want to give some updates on the radios that are at or near end of service life?
Sure. Thank you, Commissioners, and good afternoon. Commissioners, as you already know, Lake County owns its own radio system. It is currently has 20 channels. We are going to increase that by 4 channels. Recently, you approved 2 additional channels. Since that time, the state has stepped up, as they said they would, and agreed to add 2 additional channels. So we're going to go from 20 channels to 24 channels. We're going to increase our capacity by about 20%. This will be done before the solar eclipse of next year. In addition to that, that radio system I speak of supports 3,600 radios in Lake County of all police, all fire, all schools, EMS, utilities, Lake Tran, and the engineer's office. Of those 3,600 radios, 536 of those are school bus radios, and the balance being the other departments that I mentioned. Currently, there are 2,008 radios on the Lake County system that will reach end of support and end of life within the next 18 months. Of those radios, those 2,008 I speak of, 536 are school bus radios, 1,472 of those are public safety radios. Given all, I need to add, none of those are Lake County radios. This group of commissioners within the past year approved, and we did purchase new radios for all utilities, engineers, dog pound, telecom, building and grounds, and sheriff's department all got new radios. So that's not included in this. But of all those radios, there may be, for all those communities, an opportunity, if they join together, to reduce their overall cost and receive a bulk discount if they join together and purchase them at the same time. Motorola representatives are here today to discuss that a little bit further, but they could see anywhere from a 33 to a 38% discount on those radios, which is considerable. These are not inexpensive radios. They are designed to last for a very long time. But the ones that I do mention are going to be out of support. So if they break, they cannot fix them. And so I wanted to bring that to your attention to get your thoughts and hopeful blessing on this, so that I would be one of the people that would organize this and contact the Police Chiefs Association, Fire Chiefs Association, and schools, and see if they were interested in doing something like this, because it would have to be done. There would need to be a total number of radios in this put together before the end of the year. Motorola wants an order before the end of the year. But anyway, that's my part in this. I can answer your questions if you want, or I can pass this off to Motorola for their comments.
And just to be clear, the local municipalities, for our first responders, police, fire, EMS, as well as the schools, they should know that this is coming, but as a courtesy, we're working to try to leverage the number and our buying power to get everybody the best possible price, and in case somebody had missed a memo or two or something just happened to slip their calendar, we're just making sure that nobody is taken by surprise, and if we can put together a total lower cost, that's the genesis of what we're doing here. We're not trying to usurp any local electeds or chiefs or whomever else is responsible.
All by themselves, they're going to have to eventually replace these radios one way or the other. And if they chose to, if they have the revenue to do that, they could do it maybe a little bit sooner, but then save an awful lot of money.
So with that, our friends from Motorola, if you want to talk about some of the particulars we've been talking through of some of the helpful solutions. And if you could give your names for the record, please.
Yep, thank you, Commissioners. I'm Chris Pfaff, Motorola Solutions. I'm with Sam Spalding, Communication Services, and I would like to call out the fact that she's about to celebrate 75 years of serving this county as a Motorola partner.
Family-wise.
It's amazing.
Yes,
Family.
not me personally.
Grandfather
I was gonna say,
started.
she's
Or I
younger than
look
me.
pretty
It's like, no.
Grandfather started the business in 1946.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you again. With that in mind, Paul stole a lot of my thunder, so I'm going to work off my Well done, Paul. As he stated, there's 2,000 radios that have been identified that are either end of life or nearing end of life. So with that said, Motorola is willing to work with these agencies individually in a group effort to offer discounts as well as leasing options for those that might have a difficult time getting the budget together before the end of the year. We're putting together lease packages that would allow them to not have to pay for 1 year after they make the agreement. And as Paul said, this is an opportunity too to embrace new technology. Our radios now come with location services, messaging services, and the ability to roam off of the network. So the sheriff will be able to experience that very soon, and we'd like to open that up to the rest of law enforcement and fire throughout the county. Anything else that you'd like to add?
Couple
No,
quick ones in
just,
there.
I was just gonna add,
Yeah.
as Chris, to piggyback on that, the technology that's coming out now, these are all new, this is the new platform of our Apex series radios, so it's gonna have a much longer life cycle, giving them, a long view for end of life,
Yep, you're coming in at the right time with these radios because they've just been developed and distributed within the last couple of years, so we expect this cycle to last a lot longer.
And that's been important because we always seem to wind up with the tail end of stuff.
Yep.
On that though, on the lease options, as I understand it, we're looking at 3, 5, in addition to an outright purchase, 3, 5, and 7 years.
That's
But
correct.
one of the more important issues that I think will be important to all the electeds who are going to be responsible for this, the 7-year warranty is baked into the pricing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that has always been a problem. You get new equipment, and when it breaks, you can't afford to fix it. So a lot of this is depot repaired, meaning you put it in a box and you ship it off to a facility. So I'm assuming that Sam, you're our local
Yes.
recognized, trusted voice. You'd be willing to reach out to the local communities, let them know that, hey, we're aware of this. We're going to make sure that they're aware of this, see what kind of appetite there is.
Yes.
Maybe circle back with this board to see what participation assistance we can offer.
And don't hold it against me, I'm a West Sider, but I can be here within 40 to 45 minutes if needed.
It's okay. Lake County is a convenient driving distance from 2/3 of the state. So I got that from our Visitors Bureau, by the way.
Yeah.
So Neil Stein, if you're watching, I do pay attention. So, okay. Anything else you want to add? That's a good gentleman. Anything you have for our director or Motorola here?
I just think it's a good thing we can bring up at the next mayor's and managers meeting, just to let the electeds know that this is on their plate if they don't already.
There you go. Paul, anything else you want to add? Or are you good?
I'm good, thank you.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you, folks. Appreciate you
Thank
coming
you.
out and giving us that update. All right. Continuing on with some old business. We've had Dr. Comer before us several times over the years talking about modern coroner operations and facilities, and one of the continuing topics had been a morgue facility. We do have an opportunity. Dr. Comer, do you want to come on up, sir. We do have a correspondence from you, and most recently we did get an email about the, I'm going to call them borrowed facilities that we have at Tri-Point and at West. They are full. So I don't think anybody
Yes,
can
they
say
are.
better than you, sir.
We have to stack our bodies these days. We have no place to put decomposing people in this county. It's really pretty sad. You're in receipt of my letter. I mean,
Yes, sir.
has everyone read it? Do you have any questions for me before I make any comments?
Gentlemen, the floor is yours, sir.
I guess I'd like to start by reminding the commissioners of the history of the morgue a little bit. The morgue in Lake County has always been part, until recently, of Lake Hospital System. In the 1980s, Lake Hospital became independent from the county. And the reasons for that were to allow it to conduct business in an easier fashion, is my understanding. But what was forgotten in that decision to make the hospital independent was that the morgue was part of the county hospital, and the morgue belonged to the people of Lake County. In the process of becoming independent, the county lost its morgue essentially, and it became part of Lake Hospital System. That was controlled then by the commissioners, because the commissioners were able to appoint the board of trustees of Lake Hospital System. So by de facto, they were still in control of what happened at Lake Hospital System, and therefore were still in control of the morgue. Now, the hospital has been sold to University Hospital. Essentially, Lake County does not have a morgue. And the morgue that we do have was built in the 1950s for a 1950s population, for 1950s technology. When Tri-Point was built, it was built by Lake Hospital System, and it was built as a hospital morgue, not as a public coroner's morgue. We need a new morgue. We have inadequate storage, and I've outlined in the letter to you why it is we need a new morgue. You know, we didn't pay the price to build a new morgue when Lake Hospital became independent. At some point, we have to have this done for the people of the county. Either we do it now with today's money, or we do it tomorrow with tomorrow's inflationary money. And that's about all I have to say, and I'm certainly willing to answer any of your questions about our volumes, what's happening with the number of cases we have, with the sophistication of the cases we do. You know, I'm here at your service. Thank you for having me.
Gentlemen? Well, for some history, so from those who may not know, so you in particular, as well as the coroner's office in general, you were instrumental in background information relating to the opioid litigation, of which Lake County participated in both the Track 1 and 2 litigation and resulted in the One Ohio solution, but the most recent verdict in Track 3 with the pharmacies. So that I remember seeing many of the gruesome photos. The one that I just can't get out of my head had to do with the young couple in each other's arms on the couch that had overdosed and died, with a infant crying in the adjacent room. That was a tough one.
Yes, that was. With a sign over their couch that said "Love Forever."
So, you know, those are the things that we hear so much about, but also bariatric patients. We have no capacity for that. Decomposing bodies, again, not a pleasant subject to discuss, but we don't have that capability.
That's correct.
We rely heavily on Cuyahoga County, but they are getting stretched in their capacities, and costs continue to rise. I know there's other counties, Ashtabula and Geauga, I believe, that are showing an interest in wanting to partner with Lake County should there be any opportunity. And although Lake County is geographically the smallest, we are the 11th most populous with 232,000 people, and death is a reality, and your office gets many calls for service.
Yes, we do over 800 cases a year. We're doing about 100 autopsies a year, and we anticipate that that's going to go up. We do approximately 50 external examinations on people that we don't do autopsies on to determine whether they need autopsies, and we document what happened to them. We're not doing autopsies on opiate deaths. Cuyahoga County does autopsies on every opiate death in their county. We don't, because we really don't have the budget to do it, but last year I think we had approximately 80 opiate deaths. So our volume is busy. The funeral homes rely on us, and the people of Lake County rely on us to store their deceased until they can make arrangements for those people who die, and they haven't made, who died suddenly and unexpectedly, and they haven't made a funeral arrangement, so they can't go directly to a funeral home. And we're currently sharing those storage facilities with the people who die in the hospital. So we really have completely inadequate storage situations. In addition, you know, anybody who wants to come and watch an autopsy can, they would see how, in fact, our facilities are dangerous to our staff. We have crypts that can cut your finger off at any minute if you put your finger in the wrong place when we push people in and out of these crypts. They are just an accident waiting to happen. And there really isn't anything I can do about that. So for a host of reasons, we really have to swallow the bullet here and have a modern morgue facility in some fashion.
And one of the reasons why we're bringing this up now, just to keep the conversation moving, has to do with there is an opportunity for a piece of property locally at a very good price. All things considered, it would be a sale, it wouldn't be going through a realtor. There's a bonus associated with that. As we know, we're doing a great deal of diligence on moving forward with the jail project. One of the buildings that would be scheduled to be demolished is 125 East Erie. We are relocating our public defender as well as a contingent of our prosecutor's office to the Camden Stern-Aveni building, but because of incredibly tight timelines that we just probably can't make work, this facility would be a great transitional location to temporarily house. I've been in communication with Vanessa Clamp, the chief public defender, and she understands that a brief relocation of 3 to 6 months would be understandable. We just have to get the blessing of the judges, because when the judges call, prosecutors and public defenders go, we're running. Well, they're going to have to do a little driving. It's you know, instead of a 1-minute walk across the street, it'd be about an 8-minute saddling up in the car, driving, parking, getting out of the car. But again, we're still talking about a facility right here in downtown Painesville, so we'd be keeping the coroner's office back in our county seat and associated taxes. Also, it would be a facility that would be close enough that our sheriff would be able to assist with any number of activities associated with that, since there's such a close working relationship between the coroner. I just want to say that this, as we had heard in recent meetings, that good money management and the monthly accelerated costs of a jail project, this actually would be a cost savings to the county. So I believe, again, a public discussion is where this legally has to take place. I think we should have some earnest conversations with the property owner to see if we can't bring something more formal together. So if there's no objections to that, I would like to task our administrator to work more closely on an ongoing basis here and get something in place and bring it back to the board, and we'll do the benefit analysis at that time. Dr. Comer, anything you want to add, sir?
No, thank you for attention to this, and please don't hesitate to call me if you have any questions. And again, I encourage everybody who works at the county to come and visit us sometime and participate in an autopsy. It's an interesting exercise.
It is indeed. That's why
All
we
right.
get to see all the bits and pieces.
Any questions, gentlemen?
I've taken many tours in different departments. I'm probably not in a hurry.
I think everybody who's come is fascinated by it. You know, it really is a fascinating exercise.
I have to say this. This is Dennis Yarborough, former police chief, Kirtland. He passed away, I believe, in 1999. The best piece of advice he gave me, if you're ever around, we'll just say the dead, or in an autopsy, put Vicks up your nose. It actually works. And like, wow. Otherwise, that sensory overload, it tends to short circuit that. So if you do decide to go do one of those, I highly recommend that. But Dennis Yarborough, that piece of advice came from Dennis.
The other thing is trim your nose hair so that it doesn't stick in your nose for very long.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Particles sticking. Ew. Okay, our clerk is
All right.
looking at me like,
we could really
move on,
we could
Commissioner.
digress here. Thank you very much.
She's the adult in the room. Doctor, thank you so much. Okay, thank you, sir. And we did have our first ad hoc meeting regarding the local government fund alternate formula. Meeting went well. I think just some quick highlights. You know, we're taking a look at the statutory formula just as a baseline. You know, the big thing that was talked around the table was, you know, what's a new formula, an alternate formula going to look like? And I have to give credit to our county auditor, Chris Galloway. He has a very simple theme. Simpler is better. So that seemed to be pretty much impressed upon everybody. You know, we captured a number of data points just talking around the table. We're all looking back to the statutory formula to see what key elements are associated there. You know, one of the big topics though was rumor control. You know, a lot of people are just wondering, what's this all about? Well, it really is very simple. Is the local government formula as it stands a valid instrument? It's literally that simple. There's no nefarious activities going behind the scenes, and there's no efforts there to be using that as a vehicle for jail funding. So, you know, there's going to need to be some contribution there from everybody to have some good faith going forward. But that's kind of the summary there. And that brings us to, we did have our informational meeting regarding jail funding, and our jail expert and our bonding and underwriting experts were there. They had a very simple message that we, sooner rather than later, need to put together a written plan for funding and finance, and that there is a distinction between those two. So considering that so many things need to be talked about in a public venue, it would probably be in our best interest, as well as the public's, to put together public meetings before our like a workshop. We can talk this through before our commissioner meetings. So if there's no objection, we could have our clerk schedule that, even if it's just 1 hour at a time as we work through this, just to hit the key points. Sound reasonable? All right, Jennifer, do you want to make sure then before each commissioner meeting going forward, we have just block out an hour? I think will be good, and then we'll adjust from there. We'll check those boxes off. Okay, is there any other old business? Did I spark any memories? Okay. Moving on to new business. Do we have any new business? Any new business? Hearing none. All right, this brings us to our second public comment portion. Anyone wishing to address the board under second public comment? Anyone at all? And anyone at all? Okay. And I will entertain a motion to adjourn our meeting.
Second.
I'll make a motion.
Madam Clerk, roll call please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes. Thank you for joining us today. This meeting stands adjourned.